What if I told you the hottest planet in our solar system is not the one closest to the sun?
How can Venus be hotter than Mercury, even though it's farther from the sun?
This planet hides a deadly secret, an atmosphere powerful enough to melt metal.
Welcome to Venus, Earth's twin, that turned into a planetary nightmare.
Venus is the second planet from the sun, and the most hostile planet in the solar system. In fact, Venus is almost the same size as Earth. But the surface of Venus is a world of crushing pressure and unimaginable heat.
The average temperature here reaches 465 degrees Celsius.
That's hotter than Mercury, the planet closest to the sun.
Intense. The reason lies in Venus's incredibly thick atmosphere.
This atmosphere is made mostly of carbon dioxide.
This creates something called a runaway greenhouse effect.
Heat enters the planet, but almost none of it can escape.
And the pressure here is 90 times stronger than Earth.
Even the clouds here are deadly.
But Venus hides one of the strangest time secrets in the solar system. A single day on Venus is longer than its entire year.
One Venus day lasts 243 Earth days.
But a Venus year is only 225 Earth days. But the real question is, what would happen if humans tried to land on Venus?
As the spacecraft enters Venus's atmosphere, it immediately faces one of the most extreme environments in the solar system.
The deeper you descend, the hotter and more crushing the atmosphere becomes. The clouds of Venus are not made of water, but droplets of sulfuric acid. Inside these clouds, powerful lightning storms rage constantly.
Temperatures rise rapidly as the spacecraft approaches the surface.
Pressure here is so intense, it's like being nearly 1 kilometer underwater on Earth.
Finally, the probe touches down on the surface of Venus.
The landscape looks like a burned volcanic desert. In the 1970s, the Soviet Union sent the first successful probes to Venus.
These missions captured the first real images from the surface of another planet.
But the extreme heat quickly destroyed every spacecraft that landed. Most probes survived only about 1 hour.
At these temperatures, even strong metals begin to weaken.
Venus is also covered with thousands of giant volcanoes.
Some of these volcanoes are larger than any on Earth.
Scientists believe many of these volcanoes may still be active today.
Near the surface, winds move slowly, but the thick air makes them powerful.
But high above the surface, winds can circle the planet in just 4 days. This phenomenon is called atmospheric superrotation.
But despite its deadly environment, Venus was once surprisingly similar to Earth.
Billions of years ago, Venus may have looked very different from the planet we see today.
Scientists believe Venus might have once had oceans of liquid water. In the beginning, its atmosphere may have been much thinner.
But Venus receives far more sunlight than Earth. As the planet warmed, its oceans slowly began to evaporate.
Water vapor is a powerful greenhouse gas.
This triggered a runaway greenhouse effect.
Eventually, all the water completely disappeared. Solar radiation then broke apart water molecules in the atmosphere.
The lightweight hydrogen escaped into space forever.
Meanwhile, carbon dioxide continued to build up in the atmosphere.
This turned Venus into the hottest planet in the solar system.
What's terrifying is that Earth also has greenhouse gases.
On Earth, the greenhouse effect keeps our planet warm enough for life. But Venus shows what happens when this balance is completely lost. In many ways, Venus is a warning from our own solar system.
At 465 degrees Celsius, Venus is hot enough to melt lead.
And unlike Mercury, Venus never cools down at night.
Thick clouds block almost all sunlight from reaching the surface.
So could humans ever survive on a planet like Venus? If a human spacecraft attempted to land on Venus, survival would be extremely short. Astronauts would need the strongest protective technology ever built. The moment a human stepped outside, the environment would begin destroying the suit. The crushing pressure alone could collapse ordinary equipment instantly.
Within minutes, the suit's cooling systems would begin to fail.
Even advanced electronics struggle to function in this heat.
Communication with Earth would quickly be lost.
Most experts believe a human mission could survive only minutes on the surface.
But scientists have proposed a surprising alternative.
Instead of living on the surface, humans might float above the clouds. At about 50 kilometers above the surface, conditions are surprisingly similar to Earth. Temperatures there range between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius. Because Venus's atmosphere is so dense, floating habitats could stay suspended easily. Future explorers might travel through the skies using giant airships.
These floating stations could study Venus safely from above.
Solar energy would be extremely powerful in Venus's atmosphere.
From the sky, scientists could map the mysterious surface below.
They could also monitor active volcanoes across the planet.
Space agencies around the world are already planning new missions to Venus.
But the ultimate mystery still remains. Could Venus ever become Earth-like again? Some scientists have wondered, could Venus ever be transformed into a livable world?
To make Venus habitable, the first challenge would be cooling the entire planet.
One idea suggests placing a giant solar shield in space.
But even with less sunlight, Venus still has a massive carbon dioxide atmosphere.
Scientists have imagined converting carbon dioxide into solid carbon.
If the planet cooled enough, water might return to the surface.
Eventually, plant life could help stabilize the new atmosphere.
But the scale of this project would be beyond anything humanity has ever attempted.
Transforming Venus could take thousands or even millions of years.
For now, Venus remains one of the most hostile worlds we know.
Yet spacecraft continue to orbit this mysterious planet.
Each mission brings us closer to understanding its secrets.
Venus also teaches us something important about our own planet.
It reminds us how powerful a planet's climate system can become.
Despite its deadly nature, Venus remains one of the brightest objects in our night sky.
For thousands of years, humans have called it the morning star. But behind that beautiful light lies one of the most extreme planets ever discovered.
In the vast universe, planets can evolve in dramatically different ways.
Venus shows us how fragile planetary balance can be.
Because sometimes the difference between paradise and hell is just a planet's atmosphere.